and said he paid 1 million naira to be freed. This is a very young man that I don't think from his job he makes up to 1 million naira a year. You know? So life is becoming unbearable, and it's not enough for one man to say it before you read politics into it. They are coming together now. It's across party, religion, and tribe.
There are some issues. Some other parts of the country are not quite comfortable with the demands of the southern governors. For instance, coalition of northern groups and some other groups in the north are saying they did not talk about secessionist groups that are active in southern Nigeria, that they completely ignored it.
They don't have to talk about it. If you take care of the issues they are talking about now, that one will just go off the table. But we have always said this. True federalism, for once, if you do that today, most of these agitations will just go down. Because people are feeling oppressed.
You think it's automatic?
Yeah, it might not be automatic, but you see, now we are doing the constitutional review in the National Assembly. Nobody even believes that anything will come out of it. But I will urge Nigerians.
That's another point we'll get to.
Yeah, because the point that I'm trying to make is, if you allow for the system to work, and I keep saying this, if we are honest to the people, they will listen to you. We are in a hurry to do certain things, believing that the people, it doesn't really matter, they will soon forget about it. Because why would the APC set up a committee to make recommendation? They made that recommendation, and it's gathering dust somewhere in the villa.
On, you mean the one on
restructuring or
the Nasir Rufai
committee? Because most of the things that the southern governors are asking for are in that recommendation. So the point I'm making is,
some of them are on the manifesto of the APC.
So if we had attended to that by now, we wouldn't have seen this agitation. In 2007, during the orientation of the National Assembly, I was not a member then. My predecessor in office was a member of the House of Rep then. So I was watching on television. And Andrew Young was one of those, the former mayor of Atlanta, was one of those that I spoke to them. And he said something in this light, that you need to take care of those below. Otherwise, they will make the system too hot for you. He said he's not prophesying. This was 2007. It has become a prophecy today. So this has been in the works. But the point I'm making is, if you allow, if the Nigerian people can just trust, let me not say trust this government, if they would just allow for the National Assembly to work with the executive, just maybe, for once, there can be trust on both ends.
So much expectations on the federal government, but some people are saying, just as Ahmed Lawan, the Senate President, said, there's another level of restructuring that perhaps could be more critical than the central one. The governors allowing the laws and regulations and codes are stipulating our constitution to prevail. There's need for restructuring within the states, which they have failed to do, and they appear not to have highlighted during their meeting.
Who is Ahmed Lawan to say that? Senator Ahmed Lawan. Who is he to say that? He's not in a position to say that.
But he's free to express it.
Yeah, he's free that, and he ends there. He ends there. As a statesman, he shouldn't speak like that. As a leader and chairman of the National Assembly, he should not speak like that. And for me, he will stop being the Senate President this week. Because
what do you mean?
But why should the leader speak like that?
Well, what do you mean?
No, he should be impeached like yesterday. We are in a situation in this country because of people like them. He shouldn't speak like that. Now, I'm just talking about the review of the Constitution. People don't believe in the system anymore. And if you go and check the list put out by his deputy, Omo Agege, items 2 to 5 there, basically talking about restructuring, talking about state police and all. These are things people are agitating for right now. The governors are asking for. And you are saying we are going to go around the 6th geopolitical zone from, I think, from 26th or 25th to 27th.
2 days.
You're going to go around. You expect
public hearing.
Public hearing. You want people to come out.
In 6 geopolitical zones.
Yeah, you want people to come out and give their opinions, and you have told them that you come back, collate it, and review the Constitution. And you are there sitting and telling the governors to go and restructure their state. My governor is restructuring our state.
In what ways?
Okay, right now I can tell you, he's building strong institutions, like we have always advocated.
He's building, it's not restructured.
That's part of restructuring.
Is to alter.
No, okay, I'll give an example. The governor says politicians come with their aides, their casuals, workers. There's no stability. The civil service is not strong enough. The politicians are basically doing the work of the civil servants. So I want to build a strong civil service. So that at the end of the day, whoever comes and goes away, the service will be there to serve everybody. And that's the pillar on which he's going to build.
Has he implemented the autonomy for state assemblies and judiciary in his state?
I think
he has not.
That. I will not be the
spokesperson
for the state.
Yes, no, he will just use this as an illustration.
Yeah.
Those that accuse the governors of keeping a blind eye to even efforts at the national level as amended by the constitution amended by the National Assembly, throwing up these, and which the president's executive order seemed to give a push in terms of implementation. The judiciary at the state level still on strike. The state houses of assembly on strike because of the refusal of the governors to implement this.
In the heart of this is funding, and it's part of what the governors are asking for: devolution of power through federalism. If we practice this, even the APC recommendation to the government clearly states that even the states should control their resources. It was part of the recommendation to the federal government. So if you have some of these things done, nobody will be talking about whether the state government will grant autonomy to House of Assembly or to the judiciary or to the local government. And in that report, they're even asking for the local government to be under the states. You know, so what we are saying
same
is
thing with the national conference. States should create or merge local government. It shouldn't be a third tier of government. In other words, federation accounts should not make provisions for local
government. They even say amend that the federation account, amend it. So the point is, we need to execute. We need to carry out some of these things. It's not enough to just say it and it's okay, we have heard. Because we are going to an election, you keep it there. So people are tired of hearing. You know, like they joke and say, in time past, we have said the Niger Delta people will come and say, do something for us. Those presentations, and they will walk away and say, don't worry, what we are doing for you is in the pipeline. So now they have broken the pipeline to see what is inside. And since they saw, they have refused to live there. And that is what's happening in Nigeria today. Because nobody is listening to government now. People don't trust government anymore because of behavior of the past government. That's why I would say, as much as we are blaming the president today, President Buhari today, he's really part of the problem. He's not the problem. But he ought to have taken steps to get us out of this situation. This recommendation I'm talking about by the El-Rufai committee was handed over to him. It was his party. The
national conference was handed over to him by former President
Jonathan, the 8th Assembly.
During the transfer of power.
The leadership of 8th Assembly in the 8th Assembly was APC. Yeah, granted that the leaders crossed later. Today, they have hand-picked leaders. What has it done to the Electoral Act and even some of those recommendations?
You know the president's disposition to cause for restructuring? You know it quite clearly.
Well, you can tell his body language. That's what
he has said clearly, that it's the handiwork of persons with selfish agenda.
You know, when you use the word restructuring, it means different things to different people. But their own recommendation, the recommendation by his party, says true federalism. And I can tell you what is the southern governors are asking for. This is largely true federalism. Even if that's not what the president wants to hear, I mean, if he doesn't understand the word restructuring, start with true federalism. Start with devolution of power to the states. Fiscal federalism. Start with that. I can tell you, I'm sitting down here, if that is amended in the constitution today and we start implementation, the tension will go down, in short, by 88%.
Okay, 2014 National Conference, the PDP administration didn't implement. The APC administration is not implementing, and you make reference to the APC committee on restructuring. Apart from what is contained, first, second item on the manifesto, is still there on the website, talking about devolution of powers. Why are we not seeing this play out? There were previous attempts in the National Assembly. That was during the 8th Assembly. It didn't pass through. The needed number to top majority didn't come.
We cannot depend on the federal government. That's basically what he was saying. So he only just mentioned that in passive to say, look, we can't rely on the federal money anymore. And that is what's happening today, because they are all, whatever they are getting today from FARC is going for salaries.
And that is what Kaduna State government is trying to put into effect.
Is not
rationalize the service to save costs.
All governors will follow, because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. I mean, the federal system today is not sustainable. we ought to sit down. That's part of the demands of the Southern governors. We ought to sit down. Every ethnic group, 350, as at the last count, will be seated on the table to discuss it. But my own take is, before that can happen, if we even do the right thing by amending the constitution to have true federalism, that can douse the tension. I mean, this is a nation. It's not like a company that you set up today and you say, okay, it's not doing well, you can declare bankruptcy and the company folds up. This is a nation. So why we do this, take care of this today? Because I know in this country we like high sounding things. Bring a new... Now, 2014 we're here. Jonathan was the baddest guy around. Because APC got a consultant from the Obama administration, was it David Axelrod? Those were the guys that were Obama men. Told them, brand this man. As soon as you can, as long as you can make him look corrupt and sound corrupt, that's the end.
Is that what Obama...
That's the American campaign.
They engaged privately?
Oh, yes, they engaged. Everybody knew that.
That's the APC as a party engaged
yes,
them?
Yes, officially, yes. You know? And that was American policy. We were part of the Obama group then. So they tried to make Obama look weak. And they were fighting it to say, look, he shouldn't look weak. You do that, you have a lane center. The fight for the president of this country will not be as intense as it is today.
Now, the situation at the states, you know what it's like. Some people have, even before now, expressed concerns that these powers, these enormous powers that will push to the states, without restructuring the states, and that may be where the Senate president was pointing at. If we don't restructure and give so much powers, then you just transfer the evil from the center to even a big evil at the states. You know what I'm saying?
It's easier to fight the battle at the states. That's the truth.
In what ways?
I'll give you an example. The Senate president is from Yobe. I think it's about 200, sorry, about 1010. We have 18 local governments. That's about 180 something words.
So,
sorry, 80 something, yeah.
So that number of advisors for the governor?
Yeah, well, that's not the problem.
Is not part of the problem, because there are some states where you have thousands of special advisors, assistants to the governors, so and people see them as political structures than being part of the governance processing. Are they not enough as feedback and governance structure for state governors?
Yeah, I know, but you see, if you look at, okay, I'll give you an example. If anything happens in my ward today, the councillor can say, well,
the things that were discussed, nothing is against the unity of this country. We reaffirmed that as a people, as elected governors, we believe in the unity of our country. But we also went forth to advance the need for certain things to be done in order to give strength to that unity. That cannot be a reason that you will be my deputy, you will be my this. And the same promise that they make.
Got from the community, some I paid, others the community gave to me. So whoever wants to ranch or wants to go into ranching, go to the community, apply for land. If you want to process the CFO, the governor has said it in my state, come for CFO to farm. Bank of Agric goes to the farmers to collect